Okay, good evening and welcome to this edition, the second edition of Mishna Yomi, my Mishna Yomi. I only started last on Friday. We started April's Fool's Day, right? Friday was April Fool's Day, April 1st. It's not a joke. I'm still doing it in Motzei Shabbos. It wasn't a joke. I wasn't joking. I'm really starting this thing. It sounds like a joke. I started because my mother told me to start it, but she didn't tell me to start it. It was my own volition to start this. Let's get into it. She challenged me to come with 5-minute Mishnayos. Can I do it? 5 minutes. Last one was 7 minutes. I did talk a little bit in the beginning. Start with Mishna Tet, Mishna Mesachas Kilayim, Perek Beis, second parak, Mishna Tet, the ninth Mishnah. Arutz Elaso Sadeo Karachas Mikol Min. Again, you're not allowed to mix species when you plant your field. But if you want to make bald spots, meaning we're talking about making rectangles or squares, almost a perfect square, you want to make your field divided into squares. Mikol Min, and you want to plant a lot of different species, 2, 3, 4 species in different rectangular squares. Also, it's not a normal field. It doesn't look like one field. Atzadcha, you can't make one field in the Kilayim, multiple fields, even if they belong to you, you could. Also, Esrim Arba Karachos the Beis Sa, Mikarachos the Beis Rova. What's the measurement? So you have to make Beis Rova, which is 1/4 of a Sa. A kav, which is a measurement. I think it's a kav. Core. What? Wait a second. 1 second. I'm sorry. A saw has 6 kavim. 6 kavim are measurements are in a saw. To find that a little better, but 6 kavim are in a saw. So 1/4 of a kav. There's 24/4 of a kav in a saw. Now we'll just do the math, right? So that's the shear. That's the shear of a karachas. Now, technically, how big is that? So the Mfarshim explainer Adam Bar Tanura explains. It's talking about basically an area. Each of these squares is about 10 amos by 10 amos. That's basically the size. And amma again is about 1.5 feet. So let's say 10.5, 25 feet by 25 feet. That's how big the square is. Mikarachas the Beis Rova of Zore betoch kolmin shirtza, and you can plan in each square what you want. Haisa karachas achos or shtayim zoram chardo. If there's only 1 or 2, now if the whole field is set up like a regular field in furrows, right, and you only have 1 or 2 of these rectangular patches, so then you could mix in mustard seeds. Shalosh lo yizra chardo. Meishi nearest to stay chardo. I think just give an example. Mustard is an example. You can't marry it once you have the regular field that's in furrows. So therefore, once you have 3 of these squares, it looks already like a mustard seed is mixed in with the other field. They say in a regular field, 9 up to 9 are these mutaras that you can plant it with mustard or whatever. Eser asuros, but to have 10 of them planted with something else is also and Yaakov Omer afilu kosa deo beis core. Even if it's a base core, which is much bigger than a saw, all you can do, if it's a regular field, all you can do is 1 of these patches, these square patches of something else. More than that would be usher. The Mishna on Yud, Kol, Shehu B'soch Beis Rova, Ola Midas Beis Rova. When we're talking about these rectangular patches, it can be composed of any land. For example, Achilas HaGefen V'Kever V'Asela, Ola Midas Beis Rova. For example, if it's a place where vines are planted, and vines generally disrupt the soil a little bit, so it ruins the soil a little bit, and it's not normal planting area. That kever, you have a dead person buried there, or you have a rock there, it still counts towards that rectangular patch. Tvua, the tvua Beis Rova. If you're mixing, right, let's say 2 types of cereal grains, right, let's say wheat and barley, so the shear is a Beis Rova, which we said again is about 25 feet by 25 feet. Yarak b'yarak shisha tvachim. When it comes to mixing 2 vegetables, that's not as chomer. It's not we're not as machmir so much over there. So therefore, even if the squares are 6 tefachim by 6 tefachim, which is much smaller, and it's okay. Tvua b'yarak, yarak b'tvua Beis Rova. If you're mixing vegetables and tvua together, which normally Kilayim would apply, so also you would need to have a square of about 25 feet by 25 feet. Rezer Omer yarak b'tvua shisha tefachim. Rezer says that if the field is tvua field, it's a grain field, and you want to plant some patches of vegetables, all you need is patches of 6 tefachim. We did under 5 minutes. There you go, ma.